main segment for this episode. I am so excited, y'all, because we are interviewing the first artist on this platform. So thank you for being the first, girl.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited. So listeners, today we are going to be hearing about this artist's journey, progress, how she's caring for herself as she navigates this wild ass music industry. Today we have Juno Award nominated singer and songwriter Zenesoul. So welcome to the podcast, girl. How are you feeling? How are you doing? Thank you for being here.
I'm feeling good. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited. Thank you for saying yes. You have been on my artists in Toronto that I've sort of been watching. I listen to your music. We're gonna get into it, but I first discovered you from the Coffee Project in 2020. So
yeah.
Yes, that's what I thought.
Wow, that's crazy.
Girl, I've been listening, and then I was like, so I knew someone who sort of knew you.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want Zenesoul on the podcast. And they're like, I think she'll do it. Just reach out.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so I'm so excited. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you being here, girl.
Thank you.
So I want to sort of start by, we're both Nigerian.
Mm-hmm.
And now doing music is cute. With Afrobeats, we have Thames, Wizkid, Davido, all of them. But even 5-10 years ago, doing music wasn't something that if you told your Nigerian parent or your African parent, hey, I want to pursue music, they look at pursue music for what?
Yeah.
If you don't go back in there and read your science textbook.
Yep.
So, I want to know, and then you also moved to Canada from Nigeria when you were young, like me. So I want to know, in the midst of all that, when and how did you discover that, you had this love for music?
Honestly, I don't know exactly when I knew I loved music. I just know that I harassed everybody in the house, in the shower, in my room. It was just always noisy in the house. That I knew. But I don't know when it sparked. Now that I'm doing music, my mom will tell me, oh, when we were in Nigeria, you would put sheets over you and pretend you're on a stage and performing.
Okay.
She never told me that growing up.
Oh,
she's telling me now.
They do that.
So I don't know when it started, but I know I've loved music for a long time. And I know in grade 6, I remember that's when I started writing.
Oh, okay.
That's
what were you writing about?
I was writing poetry. I was writing stories. I was writing lyrics. I loved writing. I hated reading, but I loved writing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what, at 6, what were you writing about? What were the
I don't know. You know all those Nigerian films that we were watching?
And then it ends with "To God be the glory."
Yeah. I even wrote a book that ended basically with "God be the glory." They called my parents to the school, thought I was getting abused at home or something, because I literally wrote a story about a movie I watched where the kid locked the parents inside a room till they prayed and
they finally came out.
The teachers really thought it was my real life.
That's convincing writing at that age, girl.
Yeah, I was writing any and everything. So I guess I just was writing based off of movies I watched and stuff. So my songs were about love and things like that, but not my experience.
Yeah, direct experience.
Yeah.
So that's when you kind of figured out you loved music, and you've always been, writing and singing and harassing people in the house. When did you kind of figure out what, this is something that I can do not just in my room, not just as a hobby, but I actually want to pursue this as, a career?
So everybody around me, my friends would always push me Angie, do this, especially one of my best friend, Shanice. She would always push. My dad even called her one time to yell at her yo,
Baba.
He was
not
having it because she's I found a producer for you. This was in high school.
So
she really was pushing. But my parents weren't having it. Yeah. Go to school, whatever. So music wasn't really in my mind of something that I would pursue, but it was something that I did as a hobby. And I would always share my songs with friends. So then after I graduated university, I was in a relationship, and my partner, he was for your birthday, let's go to the studio and we'll have 10 studio sessions. Okay, and that's how I formed my first project.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So basically, I just go record at the studio and leave. Like, I didn't know anything about music,
Right.
nothing about the business.
Mhm.
Just recorded songs I had in my like notebook, and that was it.
And from then, that's when you were like, like I can do this.
Yeah, I'm like, I already started, and me, once I start something, now I have to like finish it.
Okay. Me too, because I'm like, I've already started. And I think for me, it's like a combination of maybe like the pride and the fact that like
I don't embarrass everybody that's already
how can I embarrass myself?
Yeah,
okay, because I've already started this.
Facts.
I've put up one episode. They cannot come and say, what happened to that podcast?
Exactly. It's just giving embarrassing, honestly.
So no, I completely hear you with that. So here on this podcast, it's called But What Do I Know? And we explore moments where, any aspect of life can make you kind of go like, yo, but what do I know about this? Right. So especially with music, because it's so unconventional. Like, I think that's part of the reason our parents are like, forget music.
Yeah.
Because they want us to go for things that have been tried and tested, right?
Yeah.
Where you get the degree, and hopefully, because these days we don't know as much anymore.
That's not even secure either.
Right? Hopefully you get the degree, and hopefully you find work after that, and it's stable, and it gives you some sort of stable income, right? So did you ever have a moment where you were kind of like, yo, but what do I know about turning this thing into a career? Like, how can I do this, beyond the creative part?
Honestly, even till today, I don't know. I'm on ChatGPT. How? I really don't know. Like, I honestly don't know. Like, but I've just like figured out, you just take it day by day, and like you just learn from like others. You listen and like take the people around you, like they know what they want to see from you, right? So you just take that feedback and you try to stay true to yourself while still taking like what others are saying. So I really don't know anything.
You're still learning, huh?
Yeah. I'm still learning, still figuring it out, and taking it day by day.
Yeah, I feel like, so being that you're so into kind of like the creative process, do you find yourself having to like balance like that creative process, but thinking about like the profit, like the money side of it?
So when I first came into music, like when anyone would talk about like the business part, I'll just be like, yo, bro, please.
Enough is enough.
This music thing is for my own healing.
Right.
Like, leave me alone. Like,
yes.
I don't, all this business talk, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, in order for me to continue to do what I love,
okay,
I need to fund it. So then I started thinking like a businesswoman, like, okay, this is not just like music, like this is a brand, and I have to, and we're not in the times when it was just you have a voice, you can write, you get signed, and you keep it pushing. No, now you have to be a whole brand. You have to be a content creator.
Girl, you have to wear all the hats.
All the hats.
Content creator, songwriter, singer, marketer.
And it's stressful, but honestly, it's also allowed us the opportunity to put ourselves out there without needing backing. So just got to figure out what works. But it is hard trying to do what you love and also think about like the business side of it at the same time.
Yeah.
But once you find like a lane that you enjoy,
yes, I agree,
it makes it easier.
And I think with you, I feel like you also have a solid team around you, like at least your manager. Like I feel like you're making the right moves. I'm seeing you on certain interviews, radio, podcasts, and you're not necessarily everywhere, but you're in the right places, and I feel like it's strategic.
I love that because
you don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be in the right place, But I feel like it's strategic, and the work rate, girl.
Thank you.
I'm on Apple Podcast. Zenesoul has put out another song. is rent due?
It's giving a jacket.
Like 2 albums back to back. I said, what? We had Coffee 2020. You had another project, Brown Sugar. You had, I'm like,
sometimes it's by force. It's really by force sometimes, because it's like, I love writing, so I write a lot. And then it's like, if I don't put it out, I will never put it out. Because then I will write something else, and then I won't want to put it out. Right. So it's like, shoot, I might as well put this out now before I'm over it.
Yeah. Okay. No, I hear that. So I want to get into Coffee, the album that came out in 2020, right? Okay, perfect. And that was sort of my introduction to your music. First of all, I feel like the name Zenesoul is so fitting for your music style because, it's R&B, it's very soulful. Are you inspired by like 90s R&B in that way? Okay.
Yes. Especially the soul sisters like Lauren, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, India Arie. Like that is my vibe.
I can tell because I feel like you're in that pocket where, some things are, mainstream or radio, but then there's somewhere I'm like, nah, this is for the girls that just want to pour a glass of wine on a Friday.
And heal.
Okay. And sit in that bathtub and just have the song playing in the background all night long, girl. It's,
I'm glad it's giving that because that's what I wanted to give.
Exactly. So after I sort of listened to this project, I feel like I walked away feeling like, damn, Zenesoul's going through some things. She's going through some things. So we're gonna get into the first song I want to get into is a song called Waste Man. Okay, so I have the lyrics here. Hopefully they're accurate because you know how the internet does.
Yeah.
So it says, on my mind you are, on my mind, all the time on my mind you are. I tried to get you about 1,000,000 times. I tried to erase everything we had, deleted all your pictures off my phone, discarded everything of yours that I owned. Girl, I like the fact it's even rhyming. Girl said phone with owned. My heart still feels like there's a bullet hole. Oof, girl, when I'm sad, it's you I want to call. How long does it take to get over us? Now, what was the inspo behind this song, girl?
You know when you just know that somebody's not right for you, but it's like they stay steady on your mind. Girl. That was just like what it was. It was just like, what do I have to do? How long does it take to just
to get over
move on?
Yeah.
To just move on, bro, because you know your waist. So why? And exactly. I know your waist.
Girl, but the attachments, the time that you spent with the person, you're like, it's giving one foot in, one foot out.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know. Should I go? Should I stay? So that one was one that got me, Waste Man. And I feel like a lot of the songs had similar themes. I feel like you were being very vulnerable. You were letting us in on some things that were going on in your personal life. And there's a particular song, Safe, which, I'll get into the lyrics. But when I listened to this one, I said, the way that you painted the picture with your words.
Oh, thank you.
I said, girl, yes. So proud.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
The lyrics say, supposed to be home, somewhere I could go, my humble abode, a place of my own. You were, but I don't feel safe with you. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe with you. I don't feel safe. And it repeats that one more time. And then it says, supposed to feel loved, but instead I'm broken. Broken into pieces. Whew, girl. Like when I read that, the last line, I saw the image of like just glass breaking and I was like, oh, she's painting this so well, but it's so deep. So can you sort of let us in a little bit into the inspo behind that song?
So I was in like a relationship that I felt like was just abusive. Like, so at first I didn't want to write about it, but then I'm like, someone could be feeling it. And so many people relate to that song.
Girl.
And it's so sad that so many people relate to that song. Like I love when someone's like, oh my gosh, that song really touched me. And I'm like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Because why?
Because why do we all have the same story?
Exactly.
And the same experience.
So yeah, that song really touches. And I feel like that song was like a song that a lot of people who didn't like know me well were like, oh, yo, this girl's really like deep. And it's the first time I felt like I really, really showed like my emotions in a song.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was, I listened to her. I said, wow, okay, no, she's really deep. So I feel like overall, Coffee was a project. Would you say you were in like a sad place?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to say dark.
And I wouldn't even say it's like one story. It was like a collection of like stories. And I hate how Coffee still relates to me till today. But like, I don't know, Coffee was just me being very vulnerable, like super, super, super vulnerable. And even some of the lyrics, I'm like, I couldn't even recreate that today, even if I wanted to. Like, it's one of those where you had to have just been leaving that, like, that space.
Yeah.
Because I can't write while I'm in that space. But as I'm leaving that space.
Oh, that's when you can write. Okay.
But I won't even allow myself to be in that space So it's going to be hard to write it when I wouldn't even put myself
in that space to be able to write it.
Yeah.
So then I guess you had kind of like left that particular relationship and then you were able to write this? Because I can imagine that from a personal level, from even being in that relationship, the things that are going through your mind as you're writing this and then thinking about the person, putting it out. Did you consider all of that?
Oh, yeah. I was so scared, especially with putting out Safe, because I'm like, if this person like feels it's about him, please don't contact me.
Yes.